Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal, and welcome back to another What Sold video. These are sales on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay from September 16th through September 30th of 2024. Before we get into my sales, I did just want to acknowledge the fact that Poshmark changed their fee structure last week. I think it was October 3rd was the day that the new fee structure came out. I honestly don't really have a good or bad opinion about it. Unfortunately, Poshmark is a company and they have to earn money too. And at the end of the day, we are listing on their platform and they can impose any rules that they want to. So we can complain, moan and groan all we want. But unfortunately, it is a little bit of a it is what it is situation. But as long as I'm still making sales and I'm not forced to do live shows, I really have no problem with the new fee structure. I am not sure how it's going to go on the buyer's side because they are definitely paying more than what they used to. I guess time will tell. And, nothing is forever. If it doesn't work and Poshmark sees a huge decrease in sales, then I'm sure that they will change it. Before anybody asked, I figured I'd just put my 2 cents in and let you know what I feel about it. Moving on, I had one sale on Mercari. It was a Leah Sophia green enamel round pendant twisted cord necklace. Some Leah Sophia stuff flies out of my closets and stores, and some of it sits forever. I've had one necklace in my store and closets for like 4 years now, but this one sold relatively quick within a week or two of me listing, which I do think is quick for Leah Sophia. It did have a little bit of like dirt or discoloration on the twisted cord because it was like a fabric almost, but I did notate that, and it still sold for $8.10 because there are no fees on the seller side. I made a profit of $8.10. Moving on to Poshmark, where I had 3 sales. Not too many sales. This was way before the fee structure changed. I have no idea what the reason for the lack of sales this time is. I'm sharing my closet every day. I'm relisting, I'm delisting, I'm listing new items. I'm doing all the things. But Poshmark and I have definitely had like a love-hate relationship. When it's great, I love it. When it's not great, I kind of just honestly forget about it and just hope that I have sales elsewhere. So of my 3 Poshmark sales, the first one was a Calia by Carrie Underwood gray mid-rise wide leg cropped pants. These sold once before on eBay and were returned. I think on eBay they sold for $14, and this time on Poshmark they sold for $13, and there was no shipping discount. The next sale on Poshmark was a vintage Port Authority Penn State green nylon full zip fleece lined jacket or coat. This was my mom's jacket. She worked for Penn State University for several years. She loved this jacket. She definitely wore it every winter. It was a very heavyweight fleece inside and definitely kept you warm in the winter. It sold within a week of me listing it for $26. And then the last sale on Poshmark was a universal thread rust red ribbed mock neck pullover sweater. This came in a mystery box of leftover swap meet items from my friend Courtney over at Magnolia Thrifts. My cost of goods for these items was only 85 cents, and it sold for $13 with no shipping discount. And before I go into my total numbers for Poshmark, I did just want to point out that last sale was on September 20th. I didn't have another sale on Poshmark until October 2nd, the day before the fee structure changed. So there was a full 11 days of no sales on Poshmark. That might actually be the longest dry spell I've had on Poshmark. 11 days. That's a really long time. So of my 3 Poshmark sales, I had $52 in sales, $11.10 in fees. I gave out no shipping discounts, and my total profit was $40.90. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $17.33. And now moving on to eBay, where I thankfully had 15 sales. The first sale was a Lafayette 148 gray button front Mandarin color long line tunic blouse. This was a size 10. I picked this up at a local consignment shop, and I've honestly never really seen anything by Lafayette 148 that looked like this. It definitely was giving me like career or even uniform vibes. It sold for $20, and that was an offer the customer sent to me. Next up is an item that I sold, I shipped out, and it got lost in the mail, or so the customer says. So it was a sweater by Christopher and Banks. It had hand embroidered stars all over it, and it was a wool blend. Now, I've had this in my closet since 2020, so I was very happy when it sold for I think it was like $13.59. I deleted it from my spreadsheet since I refunded the customer. The post office says that it was delivered on Saturday. The customer contacted me on Monday afternoon, letting me know that this sweater was nowhere to be found. This person lived in New York City, and the local USPS branch was the Manhattan branch, which I'm sure is one of the busiest locations in New York State or even New York City. I put in a USPS where's my package request on their website, and they basically came back within a day saying, we can't find it, go ahead and put a claim in on the website. However, there is a specific time frame of when you can put a claim in, and I think it's like 15 days after the item was quote unquote delivered. So I couldn't have put that in just yet. However, there was a package that I sent out back in August that was supposed to go to Florida that literally got stuck in the USPS ether for 3 weeks. I put in a where's my package request. They basically told me that there were several packages from my area headed to Florida that were in the same predicament. So just to be patient and wait for it. I did keep the customer up to date, but I did end up putting in a USPS claim for that package because once I got the money, I was planning on refunding the customer since they never received their package to begin with, and it was stuck in the USPS system somewhere. But the day before I received the check for that claim that was back in August, the package actually started tracking and was delivered or held at their local post office. I could put in a claim for this sweater as well, but I'm not going to, considering I already received money for that other claim, and eventually that customer will be getting their package. So I'm just going to say that they basically cancel each other out. So the next sale is a clear crystal rhinestone gold tone collar bib statement necklace. This came in my last jewelry unboxing from shopgoodwill.com. And after doing a Google image search, it's actually sold on Amazon. There was no hang tag or brand or anything like that. But I think on Amazon it was listed for $21.99. So I listed mine accordingly. It was in excellent shape, almost looked like it was never even worn. And it sold for $10. And that was an offer that someone sent to me, and I accepted because my cost of goods for each item in that box was 61 cents. Next up is another necklace. This was a brown and cream swirled glass beaded multi-strand layered necklace. It did have some seed beads in there and other round beads, and it sold for $6, which was an offer the customer sent to me. Next up is another necklace. It was a new Hera Link 14 karat yellow gold plated paperclip chain necklace with a gift box. This came from my Via Trading Amazon jewelry lot, and it sold for $7.55. Next sale is another necklace. I didn't realize I had 4 back-to-back necklace sales. It was a round wooden lime bright green and brown beaded silver tone thin chain necklace, and it sold for $7.99. Next up was a Bobby Unser 1971 Indy 500 winner racing pin. He was the number 48 car, and it sold for $10. Next up is a pair of shoes. This is by the brand Aldo, and they were an olive green nubuck leather pointed toe flat shoes. They were a size 8.5. They came out of a ThredUp rescue box, and they sold for $11.50. Next up is a purse that I've had since January of 2022. It came out of a ThredUp rescue box. It was by the brand Laurent Eiffel Saint Barth XXI Secolo. I have no idea if this is like a collaboration, if it's all one word, but that's what it said on the tag. While I was researching the brand, I also couldn't really find much out about that name in particular. So I just listed it as is. And it was a black leather tote bag, purse, and wristlet, and it was made in Italy. The outside of this was in great condition. Few small scratches and wear around the corners like most leather bags, but unfortunately the inside, which was leather lined, was not in great shape. I did not know how to clean leather purses, especially the inside of them, a couple years ago. I have since then learned a lot, so I probably would be comfortable cleaning something like this now. But back then, I just listed it as is. I had it listed for $75, I believe. Finally, someone sent me an offer for $30. I instantly accepted, even though my cost of goods was a little bit higher for this because it came out of a ThredUp rescue box. I've had it for over 2 years and it takes up a lot of space in my purse inventory, so I was happy to accept that $30 offer. Next up is an item I did not expect to sell as fast as it did. It was a Scoop NYC blue denim front tie neck long sleeve blouse that was in a size extra large. This came from a coworker, so it was free to me. She knows that I sell things online. She buys way too much, but she also loves to thrift, but she never asks me for money because she's going to donate it anyway. It sold in 1 or 2 days for $15, which was an offer that I sent out to watchers on eBay. Next up is a lot of jewelry that all had the same kind of theme to them. It was either hope, faith, or cross, religious, inspirational theme, and they sold together in a lot for $11. Next up was a vintage thick wheat chain bright gold tone necklace. It did come with an extender, which normally you don't see an extender on this type of woven or braided type chain. This was a free to me item and it sold for $8. Next up is another free to me item, and this one really just kind of surprised me with the comps. So it was a vintage 1962 Edward Mobley Raja Elephant Aero Rubber Company squeaker toy with sleepy eyes. So it had the eyes that close when you lean it back and then reopen when you tilt it forward. It did have some small condition issues because it is over 50 years old. Basically some fading to the painting. The coloring on the eyes was chipping off. The squeaker inside did still work though, and someone purchased it for $60. I did have it listed for higher, around 80 or 85, because that was just what the comps were showing, but I did accept an offer for 60. And I did find this in my mom's house when I was going through some of her things. It was in my baby box, but I don't ever remember playing with this. And if I did, it was definitely handed down like a couple generations. But since I'm not planning on having children of my own, I decided to pass it along to somebody else and hopefully they can enjoy it. And even though it's a little creepy, I do think it's a little cute too. Next up is another free to me item from my mom. This was Danbury Mint Raggedy Ann and Andy hanging Christmas ornaments. This was not a complete set. I don't remember exactly how many there was in the lot, but she did tell me that she was giving some of them out as Christmas gifts, which is totally something my mom would have done. So I'm not surprised that it wasn't a complete set, but this finally sold for $50 and I did have it listed around $75, again, based on comps, but very happy to accept that $50 offer. And the last item is another one of my mom's items. She loved collecting little mini purses and shoes, and Avon put out a lot of this stuff back in the 2000s. So that's what this set is from 2000, and it's a Victorian accessory pink boot, blue shoe, and handbag ornaments with original boxes. They sold for $14.39. I did receive positive feedback for this, and they said that it reminds them of their mom because their mom used to sell Avon as well, and she's proudly displaying them. So something from my mom that she loved to someone else who is remembering their mom was very touching for me, and I really love getting those positive feedback notes from buyers. So of my 15 eBay sales, I had $264.32. I made a shipping profit of $37.41. Fees was $69.05, giving me a profit of $232.68. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $17.62. And now for my total sales from September 16th through September 30th of 2024. I had a total of 19 sales. There was $324.42 in sales, $42.74 in fees, $41.02 in cost of goods, giving me a net profit of $240.66. And my average cost of goods for each item that sold was $2.16, mostly because I sold a lot of free to me item and I sold a lot of jewelry, which my cost of goods for jewelry is usually under $2. So very happy with that cost of goods price. Well, that concludes this What Sold video of sales from the last 2 weeks of September. Thank you so much for tuning in, as you do every time I put out a video. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!